How are you?
Hi, Freddie.
Hey, how are you?
Hey,
What's up,
Perry.
Freddie? What's up, Sharrell? And hey, everybody. Hey, happy Juneteenth, everybody. I hope everybody having a good day today.
Right. Today's the holiday.
And be safe out there because it's been a crazy weekend, but we'll talk about that on a different show.
Perry, you're going to bless us with your face today?
Yeah, why not?
Oh,
Freddie.
you've gone.
Is Freddie?
No, have I
Can you
lost
hear me,
you?
Can you hear us, Freddie?
He might be lagging or something. Sound like he.
No. Yes, I can hear you. I can hear you.
I just wanted to say, Freddie, you look so nice today.
Thank you so much. Very kind of you.
We forgot Freddie's a babe, okay? Freddie is good looking and we forget. All right. Before I get started, I wanted to send a shout out to my YouTube buddy who did something very, very sweet for me today. And it kind of is leading me into this conversation that I want to talk about with Kandi Burruss, because I have a famous friend. I forget you're famous. You reminded me today that you were famous, and the things that you do to me was really sweet. And I was thinking about my friendship with you, and it led me to this conversation that I want to have about Kandi Burruss. Because Kandi Burruss is upset because Sanya Richards Ross came out and said that Kandi should be replaced. And I told you at the beginning of the season, they all were coming for Kandi with the exception of Kenya. And they said that she's being mean on camera, but allegedly behind the scenes, she's still talking to the other girls. Who else was Team Kandi? I can't remember.
Drew, and then is it Moneta?
Yeah. Theo's ex.
And I'm going to talk about Russell Simmons right after I do this video. So hopefully we'll get that done very quickly. But anyway, so I was thinking about, I know a lot of famous people, but I'm friends with them not because they're famous, because I said I don't do the teams thing because it leads to problems like this. I forget Freddie's famous. I forget. You've been on TV. I forget.
I wouldn't say famous. I mean, I can get by on the street, live my life, and things.
Well, you know what I mean. You've been on television, and I forget. I'm not friends with people for what they can do for me. I'm just friends with you because I'm friends with you, but some people aren't like that. And it's like that on the Real Housewives of Atlanta because of Kandi Burruss has divided everything up into teams. And she started that mess a couple seasons ago when she wanted to go against Nene Leakes. And now it's backfiring. It's backfiring because if you're friends, when you get into these alliances, they are fighting over things that they're not really fighting over. They're fighting alliances. I hope this makes sense to you guys. They're fighting over alliances. They're fighting team this, team that. When you start saying that people should be fired, that's why none of this is making sense. Why is Marlo so upset about, because Kandi didn't say so, acknowledge her nephew? It's because she's not really mad about that. She's trying to get Kandi fired. She's finding things to be upset about.
Right.
It's a hot mess. It's a hot mess when you do it in real life. Now, I get it. When you're in Hollywood, it doesn't hurt to know a lot of famous people, but don't befriend them because you think they're famous. That relationship is never going to work out. And if you're the person that's famous, you have to be careful of who befriends you because people do that for that reason. And Kandi does things for business. She said it last night. She went on her show. She said, or a couple days ago, someone sent me something. She was talking about getting in the world of the Tonys, and she's trying to meet people. And no, I don't, and that's okay. Some people do that, but it backfires on you. And now we've got on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. They're not showing us their real lives. They're not talking about their real problems. They're talking about team this, team that. And the audience feels it. And unfortunately, Kandi, you started this mess. You started it with Nene. No one could stand the show anymore. Okay, your ratings might go up, but I haven't heard one person say, I'm really enjoying the show.
Right, because the show was about, look, it's two teams, and the only thing they fighting over, it's not a damn, well, we say storylines, but a true storyline would be what's happening in your damn life. What they fighting over, who's right, who's wrong. They would go back to 1967 to say, you did this. Just to, fight you, right? It's like Fight Club. It's like a reality show, and we need to get back to that.
Right.
That's why that.
Let me ask you this.
Go ahead.
Freddie, do you feel that Tamra Judge is mad at Shannon Bedore because of Vicky Gunvalson, because she's team Vicky Gunvalson?
I mean, Shannon and Vicky are, I think, all right as friends. It's Shannon and Tamra that have the issues. I mean, the bottom line is Tamra, ever since she's been doing this podcast with Teddy the Nat, she has just become jealous that she got fired off the Real Housewives of Orange.
Wait, let me read. Yeah, you're right. Let me say this. The argument that's going on OC right now, that Tamra's hurt that Shannon Bedore is not her friend, that doesn't feel like, it feels like her real emotions, and she's not doing it because she's team anybody. That's how she feels. And I feel like the real, what's that?
She's jealous that Shannon got to stay on the show longer.
She's very jealous. But those are true emotions. She's not doing it to get Shannon fired. She's not doing it because she's team this, team that. I feel like Atlanta has just fallen off because they are all about hurting each other.
The biggest problem, I would say, with Atlanta is that there's no real friendships anywhere on that show. They're all just there because they're forced to, and they're getting a paycheck to hang out with each other and film. Whereas, like, with these other shows, there are alliances, there are real friendships. Like with Potomac, even though most people don't like them, Giselle and Robin, they are real friends.
Yeah.
With Beverly Hills, you've got Sutton and Garcelle, for example.
That's right, Freddie. The people that are true friends, you feel it, you like the storylines, but all of this that's going on in Atlanta is just a mess. It's a hot mess. People don't enjoy watching it. You guys are going at each other, tearing each other up. And now Sanya coming out saying that Kandi Burruss needs to be needs to be replaced. That's because she's Team Marlo. There's no other reason.
Sanya is, to me, the biggest sitter on the fence person possible. I mean, to me, quite frankly, she's the Atlanta equivalent of Kyle Richards when it comes to sitting on the fence. I mean, this woman...
But she's not sitting on the fence anymore, Freddie. She's saying that Kandi Burruss needs to be fired in a very polite way.
But she's not just coming out of the gate and saying it. She's using certain words to try and make it seem like, oh, I'm the peacemaker here, and I don't really like how Candy's behaving. We know what she's trying to say, but if you really have the balls, come out and just say it how it is, because we all know what you're trying to say.
We all know what you're doing,
I agree.
Sanya, and it just feels like Atlanta has no real storylines. There's no real friendships there. We're not talking about anything. What you guys are worried about is one-upping each team. I'm going to one-up this one. I'm going to one-up that, and I don't like it. Mark, do you understand what I'm trying to say?
I understand what you're trying to say. Good morning. I think that we are forgetting that Sonya's saying what I'm hearing, because I don't watch the show. Sonya's saying, Kandi should be replaced, but that's what Kandi and Kenya were saying about Marlo.
Exactly.
It's this team versus team, and it truly doesn't really work. I mean, the last good friendship we saw on that show was Cynthia and Nene. And then Cynthia sold her soul to the devil and got in cahoots with Kandi and to bring Kenya Moore back on the show after she had her buffalo.
It's getting like, Perry, do you remember when we watched Beverly Hills and we just couldn't put up with Lisa Rinna and Erica and the Mean Crew one more day?
Right. No, I get it. Yeah.
I hate to say it. I'm not trying to get anybody fired, but Atlanta has gone to shit.
No, basically, look, the bottom line is whether you're trying to get somebody fired or not, you just saying, hey, let's do a reality show. Let's not go back and blast of the past, right? Because basically, ain't nobody talking about no shit that's going on currently in their life. They talking about shit 2 or 3 years ago. Oh, you know, you didn't come to my nephew stuff. Oh, well, why did you go to prison? It's a lot of things. It's a lot of things we could be talking about. Yeah. What's the status on Kenya and Mark? What's going on currently with Kandi businesses that she got a lot of? These are things we could be talking about, right? We could talk about Sheba Sharrell. We can be talking about a lot of things. What Marlo's got going on, whatever. Let's talk about real things. Is Drew and Ralph really going through some things? Let's talk about current situations. The problem is they coming up with this stuff. Neither one of them have a storyline. They just teamed up coming in saying, hey, you know what? Whatever bitter feelings I got for this person, let me group up and attack that other side.
There you go. It's team Marlo and team Kandi, and everybody has picked a side and they're just going at each other and they're not paying attention to the public. We're telling you guys, we don't like this.
But I agree with what Perry's saying. But the problem is that, say, Kenya Moore, her divorce with Mark isn't going anywhere. It's at deadlock at the moment. So she doesn't really have anything to report about.
She could talk about it being in the contract.
We know that's not making as much money as she says it is. It's pretty overpriced anyway. I don't think there's much going on with that. So again, she doesn't really have much of a storyline for that. Now, with Drew's divorce, that apparently is going to be playing out nearer the end of the season. I don't know how much they're going to do. I mean, from what I heard, they more or less wrapped up filming when Ralph filed for divorce, and they were like, oh, crap, because this show's been so boring for this season, we've got to film this to try and get some form of redemption for the last episode or two, or however long they've done it for.
It sucks. Denise, no, she didn't come out to say Kandi needs to be fired. She said replace. My point is,
but I think the thing is it's the implication. It's not this is being physically said. It's the implication, which means we know what she is implying.
And what she's
just doing it in her neutralist way of doing it because she's a Kyle of Atlanta and she doesn't like saying how it is. And this is her problem. And I actually think the issue with Sanya is she's actually a bit too scared to go up against Marlo because she knows that Marlo can be pretty unhinged. And I think, Sanya, listen, Sanya is someone that's happy to let her family leech off her and her money. So, I mean, are we really surprised that she's too scared to go up against anyone? Not really.
My gosh, Freddie.
Freddie's got it. I mean, but this is what he's saying, Mark. That this is not real reality TV. This is a boxing match that we're watching. Do you agree with that part?
I do agree with that part. I think that Kandi has now been showing her true colors, and when Lanithia did it, everybody jumped on that hate wagon. She's aggressive, she's nasty, she's hard to work with. Kandi is exhibiting those same behaviors. She's aggressive, she's nasty, she's definitely hard to work with. We've seen that firsthand with how she treats Todd, daddy daycare at the house. So, we're not going to sit there and put airs on it. We've seen Kandi be a complete nightmare. With everyone around, and no one wants to call her out. Y'all was rooting for some people to get off these shows, including other franchises like Real Housewives of Dallas. That Leanne girl, she was horrible, but when she started to show her true colors, they wanted her off the show.
Right, and you're right,
it's
Mark.
Time for Kandi's end. It's time for Kandi to exit.
No, I agree with you, right? And like the difference between with Nene, I think people knew that she was a star of the show, but they always reference to her background being a stripper or whatever, just like the mentality of it. So when things start going crazy, oh, there she is, being ghetto, right? But these same people refuse to see Kandi in the same light. Oh no, they throw Kandi in a different category. oh, she got
Well,
all
I
these
don't know why not. She was
no.
sleeping with Jermaine Dupri and his daddy.
I
Daddy's been
understand.
hoeing and whoring for
Mark.
years. Oh,
Mark, no. No. They said that wasn't true. Oh my God.
No, but Mark,
Mark.
what I'm
are we
saying
sure?
is,
What about Block?
Yeah, they
He was a
addressed it
taken
on the
man.
show. What was it called? The show she just did before this. Tamika said she made that up for her sister.
SWB. Okay, I
Yeah,
get that show. Yeah.
Tamika saying she made that up because she fell out with her sister, and Kandi
Y'all
trying to put
are
her on
messy.
game.
It's not
Kandi
true.
is trying to put that girl on game, and so she said that she will do whatever Kandi wants. Kandi's been wanting her record expunged for being a hoe and a whore from rolling around in Atlanta from way back in the day. Okay, now I'm not gonna believe 30 years later this girl had an epiphany to say that she was lying on Kandi. If that was the case, she would have said it a long time ago.
Hold on. Tamika herself said that she made that up. She said she made that up.
Because she's trying to get in Kandi's good graces. All of this stuff. Now she's Kandi's favorite on the show. Now she got a solo deal. Now she got a record coming out. Now she got features. That's a lot of come-ups for someone who claimed that you was hoeing and whoring 30 years ago when they never said nothing about it.
All right. Let's just go away from that. That's
what
a little
I'm saying, though, Sharrell. I mean, my point is that people look at it in two different lights, right? Nene would be labeled ghetto, right? But I think, regardless of what Kandi did in the past, people admire her businesses that she's doing today so much that they give her a pass on it, and no, they overlook her flaws.
Well, all right, let's calm down. About the business. She wasn't even paying the people correctly.
This is what I'm saying. From all of them, they have Team Marlo and Team Kandi. Everyone has taken a side, and they're just going back and forth with each other, which we don't like watching. And it's just ruined the integrity of the show. All of this bickering, going back and forth. That's why I enjoyed watching the OC. There was no fighting. They were just talking about, Tamara lost her business, and I want to get back to that. But now they're publicly fighting today. Kandi's supposed to go live. Let me read this. To drag, somebody sent me this to play. I might as well go on and play it. Hold on. She's supposed to come out today and go off on, I guess she did it last night on Sanya. And I'm just tired of the arguing. I think the alliances were created for business to stay on the show for business reasons.
Right.
And now it's just backfiring on everybody because now that's the storyline. Who's gonna win? Team Marlo or Team Kandi? We don't have it. Nobody has a storyline. Not one person.
Unfortunately, Freddie was saying that none of these girls are really friends. And so we're missing that element of seeing them go on trips and have deep connections to where they would open up about their lives because they trusted who they were talking to. And so we're missing those elements from the old show. And you can't get that and you can't create that without real, true friendships because that's when we're going to see the vulnerable side of all the ladies.
Exactly. This is hard to watch. I don't like it. I haven't heard anybody says, I'm really enjoying this season. Everyone's going, more fighting and.
Well, I suspect this is potentially why Sharrell is pushing for Lisa Wu and Kim Zolciak to get on this show. And there are quite a lot of people who are up for this because Sharrell is actually friends with both Lisa Wu and Kim since those two left the show. Well, so I think for viewers, this could be an incredibly promising thing to happen.
I mean, let me play this. Somebody sent this to me. So I'm getting all these emails. People are upset. They're upset with the show. They just don't like it. And somebody sent me this and let me play this. I haven't really seen it. How do I do this? Is it on the screen, you guys?
Yeah, I can see
it. It is.
Okay, let me play it. Let me take off this. And let's see. It says Kandi will be addressing Sanya tomorrow. That was yesterday. On her Speak On It, Sanya recently listed 5 women she would bring back to RHOA, excluding Kandi and including Phaedra. See, this is too much. Let me hear what she had to say.
And then I come back and hang out with y'all ass and get back to the hood, as your homegirl says.
You know, these girls, they don't know Marla. So they are feeding into this BS. Especially this dang old Sanya child.
I don't want for you guys to feel like I'm not being a good friend to y'all because I'm friends with Marla.
She's really trying hard. She's trying hard to pick sides.
No,
Y'all said y'all wanted her to pick a side, so she's picking a side.
Yeah, I saw that little clip of her doing the interview saying that she could see me off the show next season. Did you really say that?
And that's all I gotta say.
You see me off, but you don't see you off. Okay, boo boo. She sees me off, and she.
So, this week's episode.
And then I come back and hang out with y'all.
Wow.
Fighting. I'm just,
That's
I
a
can't,
that's
I'm
a
just,
mess.
I'm just,
Yeah, it really is.
it's worn me out. I don't want the fighting. Let's
Well,
just,
unfortunately, Kandi cannot take being number 2, and you could tell that she's very upset and very much in her feelings, like I knew she would be. She has to understand Sonya is playing the reality TV game correctly. I'm not going to sit there and burn a bridge with Marlo. I am going to, however, tell you I like Marlo, and I still want to be friends with her, and I still want to be friends with you. It's not a team situation.
Well, see, Mark, that's the issue, right? In life, in general, outside this reality show. You can be friends with multiple groups of people. It happens to Sharrell all the time. She can like a person, friends with them, but somebody else don't want her to be friends with that person. Nobody is begging and pleading for you to like the person. But she got the right to like who she like. But on this thing is, Kandi feel like she's a diva, and everybody's supposed to love her, like all her candy-colored, whatever
Freaks.
you call them.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And that love her, right? But go to those people. People with a straight mind can, make up their own mind, Kandi.
oh, you're
And
saying
they'll
you
leave
don't
the
like
dictator.
that Candy's telling her people my side or their side, and she's drawing a line in
Yeah,
the sand.
Right, basically,
she's
yeah.
giving an ultimatum about it. And
Mhm.
she wants everybody to side with her because she wants to ice Marlo out like she did Nene.
This is
That's what
hard
she
to
wants
watch.
to do.
This is getting like Beverly Hills. The fighting is toxic. We don't see any real friendships. It's just Team Marlo or Team Kandi, and they're going at each other. And I just don't like it. I just don't like the fighting.
Yeah.
I didn't like it on Beverly Hills. I didn't like it anywhere. Go ahead, Freddie.
I mean, I don't mind the fighting, but if it's a relevant fight and it's
Right.
genuine, whereas I feel that because Marlo's the only one trying to sort of make this show interesting, that's why I think it's maybe coming across as a bit desperate this season. But I mean, Kandi, the issue with her is she expects blind loyalty. And she has these people that are like, oh, Kandi, you're so great. I think the issue she has with Sanya is she expects blind loyalty from Sanya. But I also think there's a bit of underlying jealousy there. Not because they're both on reality TV, but both because they both had a reputation. They were both known. Obviously, Kandi in the music industry with many Black Americans, and of course Sanya in the being an athlete, being an Olympic gold medalist, being a very respected athlete in the Black community. So they're both in different areas respected in the Black community. But I think Kandi sort of wants to be the only person that is high caliber in a community. Really,
Well,
or the most known, and she sort of doesn't like that Sanya's come in and is also quite a known person before this show.
I don't know what's wrong. I think it's the arguing, but can we all agree on that Atlanta has gone to shit?
Well, look, and at the end of the day, let me ask you this question.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this question, Sharrell, but basically everybody. At the end of the day, is it the ladies' fault or production, right? Because now you got these beautiful Black women that got their own talent in their own way, right? Why aren't they showing more of that? But they leave down.
It's okay. I feel, and I believe this, whether it's RHOA or any other show, they can only film what you give them. They make storylines out of what you do. They could suggest you do something. Well, that's your decision to take a producer's idea, like Phaedra did. That's your choice. So that's how I feel. Freddie, do you think production is the blame for a shitty show?
I think it's actually both production's fault and the cast's fault. I think it's production's fault because they agreed, they were happy to have a bunch of women who aren't really friends. Therefore, they know that it's not going to be natural. But
you're right.
Producers at Bravo, these EPs like Andy Cohen are just so arrogant. They sort of think that they can bullshit the audience into believing the narrative that they want to believe, that everyone's friends and well and good. But the viewers, us viewers, we're not thick. We can see through this. And this is what Bravo have continuously not been able to identify. So I think that's their fault there. And I think the other thing, as we've sort of said, is it's these women. They're not choosing to run with things. They're looking for petty things. And I think maybe that is because they don't really have much going on in their life, I suspect. For quite a few of them, and just that they go, oh, we need to have drama, we need to be like all these other shows.
Everyone wants to fight. Everyone comes in fighting now. Mark, do you agree with Freddie? If we credit Andy Cohen when it's going good, must we credit him when it goes bad?
Yes, I agree with everything Freddie said. We have to hold Andy accountable, but we also have to hold Kandi accountable too, just like Lisa Rinna. Now, I liked Lisa Rinna when she first came on that show.
I did.
She would go after everybody, and then people started to kind of want to attach themselves to her, and it got to a place where it was really nasty. Kandi has done the same thing. When before Kandi got on that show, it was only on for one season, but it was a friend group. And Kandi came on, and talls versus smalls and competitive. And
wait a minute, hold on, Mark, hold on. What you're saying is very interesting. When Kandi came on, she wasn't friends with anybody in the group?
No, I believe that it was Lisa Wu or something like that was supposed to be the one that brought her in, but she comes in and she creates the dynamic of being competitive and having those moments. And it just, you've seen it go from, toss to smalls, and then she rocks with Phaedra, and then she's pissed off.
So hold on, I'm still stuck on this. Kandi wasn't friends with anybody in the...
I believe that they said it was Lisa Wu, but I don't really know that they were close like that.
I think you could be right, Mark, because I know that Nene brought Kim into the mix because they were both members of some gym in Atlanta, apparently.
And both strippers. Let's just get it real.
Allegedly.
Yes. Well, y'all know how I feel, so
keep talking, because you're right. I didn't even think about this. That's when you're saying it was supposed to be a bunch of friends.
Changed. It was a bunch of friends. And since, someone coming in from outside that group and, becoming friends, she started very soon, like picking people that were going to follow her. Oh, I'm going to help out Kim, but I'm going to only do this song for Kim. And I got Kim on my side. Now I have Phaedra on my side. Oh, Phaedra's not treating me real well. Now I'm friends with Kenya.
Wow, that's deep.
Apollo did lie on you. I'm friends with Kenya, as much so as when Kenya is at this dinner table accusing my former best friend of cheating on her husband with someone called Mr. Chocolate in her phone. I say nothing. That's what Kandi did.
So let's say you're right. Kandi's not friends with anybody in the group, and the ratings are tanking. Like, people aren't liking the show now. So you go back to scratch. Who are the friends of the show now? Nobody, right?
Nobody, except really the ones that are trying to build a friendship would be Marlo, Sharrell, and Sanya. And then you bring in Courtney as a friend of. Those are the only genuine kind of organic relationships. When you see Kenya and Kandi together, it's almost like you're watching them put a plan together and make moves. They're calling each other with information about another party. This is what Marlo said about you. They're creating, it's not like when the other girls get together.
So we got a bunch of women who are not friends outside the show. I know they said that Kandi took, what's her name, Sanya to Disneyland or something like this.
Right, right.
But they're all friends.
That was to get her on her side.
Yeah,
right.
And I think they all with the people like Marlo and Sanya and Courtney and Sharrell, they're all sort of friendly because they have a common denominator, and that common denominator being they don't like Kandi.
Yeah, but that can't be the denominator.
That's the bond they have. That's their only real bond that keeps them together.
Houston Foodie says Kandi bucked the system. She didn't like that everyone knew Nene was the core of the group.
Right.
Okay, so I agree with you. How do we get this show back on track? I cannot stand it
with these people.
Well, I mean, for one, you know, you would have to have these ladies that got an interesting life if they show it. Right? It's something for everybody.
They have to know each other. Do you guys remember, like, if something is really going on and you go to your friend and you talk to your friend, those bonding moments are what we need. All of this fighting, I can't take. I don't fight. Listen, I don't do teams in real life. I tell people, don't come to me for teams. I don't do teams. I don't do it on the shows. It creates a toxic environment. And if they can't figure this out, and I hate to say this because this is my job, then Atlanta's got to go. I'm not enjoying it, not at all. All of this fighting, and not only do they fight on the show now, come to my channel afterwards and watch me drag this person.
And that's another thing. We got to stop with this. We see too much. We're too exposed. And every episode of Speak On It is Kandi forming a narrative. And the people won't allow everybody else. You can kind of tell it's only that one person per cast, like Dr. Heavenly. It's only certain people that have the platforms to do these things. And Kandi's one of them.
You shouldn't have a YouTube channel. If you do have one, you shouldn't be on it during your season.
I agree.
Let your season be natural. Let us think what we're gonna think. Don't chime in.
I agree.
Like just leave it alone. And that, but now you just don't have that. You got other bloggers. I mean, other housewives critiquing other housewives.
Right.
This is an atmosphere of always dragging people.
The issue with Kandi though is that she likes trying to buy bloggers, buy gifting.
Thank you.
And stuff.
Thank you.
I was going to say that, you know, allegedly I put that in there, but I think that someone may have a troll farm.
And basically that's how it happened too, right? When a person on these reality shows, if they see themselves sinking in popularity or whatever, right? Most people, like, in my opinion, Kandi have been trying to buy friends for years. That's what you do well. Underneath, if you want job security, you must do what I tell you to do. She buy friends. That's why she took the girl to Disneyland, right? And on her channel, she do that to buy public favoritism because she can put a spin on it, and the other girls might not have that platform to produce the same.
It's all about the show's messed up. So who is Drew friends with? Who is she supposed to be friends with?
Well, no one really likes Drew. She's an accent.
But when she came into the show, they usually try to come in because you know a person. Who did she supposedly knew?
I thought it was Kandi, I think, but she came in also with LaToya. And
God.
I know.
LaToya's a disaster.
Oh my God, Toyota.
How do we fix the show? Let's start giving people recommendations. How do we save the show, Freddie? Because I don't know. What do you think?
You need to be bringing in real friendships. I would bring in Lisa Wu because that way you know that you've got two people that have a real friendship. I potentially bring back Kim as a friend role just so we can have someone unhinged, but then she's friends with Sharrell, so that could be a good thing. I think Kandi needs to go because all the executive producers just do as Kandi says.
Well, you don't have to say Kandi needs to go. Kandi's job is in danger. Nobody believes me. Kandi, and then I start hearing the name Kenya because of a budget situation. Remember we were talking about that?
But people are bored of Kandi manipulating Bravo and NBC and telling them what to do, allegedly manipulating bloggers to try and create a certain narrative, going on her channel to do this. People are bored of this. We want fresher blood on this show. And I think then what you need to do is, what about Marlo? We've never really seen her have a friend on the show. What about making a friend of Marlo's a full-time housewife? That, I think, would be a really constructive move as well.
The Ghetto Cooking Show says, get rid of all of them, start fresh like New York.
But,
let me go around. Let me start with you, Mark. Who would
I'm not
you
watching
say,
New York.
Who is your favorite person on the RHOA cast? Just pick, if you had to pick somebody.
If I had to pick, it would have to be Marlo at this point, because she's the only one trying to give us something. It's pretty desperate that it's, you know, about her nephew from forever ago. I think that Kandi and Kenya can go. I think that they don't want to share any parts of their life. Kenya then made that slip up talking about the contract between her and Mark. I knew they weren't married to begin with. It was a business decision, a business arrangement. So we already know she rents man, she lies, she don't even want to be honest about it, girl. We could respect you if you came on here and said, you know what, I ain't had shit to talk about. I paid this man, I paid his taxes, and he was supposed to be my dude. Just tell us the truth, girl. I can't take it no more.
Yeah, you right.
Thank you. Then Kandi, she has to go. Kandi don't want to talk about these restaurants that are having failing grades. She charging $4 for ice cubes. She don't want to talk about the cow piles at the restaurant. It's them happen more than once, and it's not just you putting these restaurants in bad business, girl, in the bad areas of you know, wherever you live. She don't want to talk about that. I'm tired of looking at her and Todd trying to make it work. Y'all have been married for what? Isn't it 10 years? It's working. 9. I don't want to talk about it. Same thing. It's working. I don't want to talk about it anymore. We have got to let these people go. They are bringing down the show. They have to go.
Perry, who would you keep? Look, and how would you rearrange the show?
And then the crazy thing, the only person I had to think hard when you asked that question would be Marlo, not because I think, like, I used to love Portia. Nobody has that kind of, you know, favoritism for me on the show. But she's about the only one that's trying. Kandi's boring as all get out, selfish, looking for attention, and crazy about being the best, right? I think she should leave and go and be the best person she could be.
Somebody's daddy.
Kenya, you know, with her, I'm back and forth on her one season. Of course, when she go after Portia, I don't like it. But I like it for her to go after other people. But now I just see her kissing up to Kandi for job security, because she know, and mad at Marlo. How can you come out there like with Kenya talking about, oh, she in there, she jealous of Marlo because Marlo made her money sleeping for a bag, right? When she lost her money renting a man.
I can't.
Sure did.
Freddie,
out of it.
Freddie, clean this up. Who would you keep, and what would you do to save the show?
I would get rid of Kandi for a start. I think that's going to help the show immensely.
What about this, Freddie? Because you've got a lot of people in the chat that like Kandi, and they're not agreeing with us. What if you kept Kandi and brought back Phaedra and finished that storyline? What do you think about that?
That's never going to happen because Kandi refuses to allow that. These wetto producers have allowed themselves to become under Kandi's thumb so much. Kandi would never allow it. It's always going to be either Kandi or Phaedra. And they've sort of more or less given up with the idea of ever bringing Phaedra back onto Real Housewives of Atlanta by sticking her on Married to Medicine.
But wouldn't that be a great storyline? Bring Apollo back, bring Phaedra back.
Of course it would be fantastic.
Because we want to know what happened when Apollo went to jail, because it looks like Phaedra just dumped him and didn't let him see the kids. Let me read these really quick. We need people like that live in actual that live in actual ATL, not outside the city. Real wealth and real friendships, return to glam and lifestyle and fun like the OG days. I so agree with that.
I agree with that.
Yeah. Michelle says, if you get rid of Kandi, then you have to get rid of Mama Joyce. Ooh. And she's more interesting than ooh, get rid of Mama.
We barely see her now.
I respectfully don't like the way Mama Joyce goes after Todd. Now, I know that's someone's mom, and I'm being very respectful, but I'm getting tired of seeing Mama Joyce beat up on Todd, and he just doesn't deserve it. You marry who you marry.
Quite frankly, I actually think Mama Joyce is incredibly overrated.
Yeah.
It is.
I say get rid of the whole cast. I hate to do that. Give some people some spinoffs and just start all over because we're not invested anymore. Kandi admitted last she only requested one person in the past to be fired. Phaedra. Yeah, it was Phaedra.
Well, you know what, though? I say this about Kandi, though, and this is my thought a little bit, right? And it's not so much because we don't like her. You know how a person can outgrow something? And I think these shows, these women need to be on the same footing. But Kandi is like the business mogul out of all of them. Mm-hmm. Maybe she should be going to a show that's more about businesses, to show her strength instead of being here buying off the peasants. You know what I'm saying?
It's not going to work, Terry. It's not going to work, brother.
I wasn't going to take any calls, but these people in the chat, they want to talk. Let me drop the link. Before we drop the link, you wanted to say something really quickly, Freddie, about how New Jersey's toxic, right?
Atlanta's definitely not the only show that's toxic. Lots of toxicities happening there. Obviously, we had Rachel Fooder's husband, John, in the reunion saying that Louie was the one that got in contact with his ex-wife who's been in prison and is the birth mum of his son and all this type of stuff. Now, the ex-wife of John's, Brittany Mauch, has now said, no, Louie never contacted her. And if Louie had contacted her, Louie would know far more about the situation and far more would be known on the show about what John Fooder's supposedly really like if Louie had known. But then
that's what I hate about Jersey and Atlanta. People are buying troll farms now and hiring private investigators. It's too toxic.
My opinion with this bit of New Jersey is I think that because the Fooders, Rachel and John Fooder, have such a blind loyalty towards Joe and Melissa Gorga, they're going to do anything they say. At the end of the day, we all know allegedly that the Fooders gave the Gorgas free tiles for their house, and in return, the Fooders got to meet producers and get the interviews through the Gorgas connection.
That's another thing, Freddie. When these new people come on the show, they already have a plan of who they're going to call out and how they're going to get attention, and nothing's organic anymore. So I'm not just talking about RHOA. I'm just saying the formula for the franchises, period, is terrible, and OC seem to have saved themselves, but we haven't seen the return of Vicky yet. So.
My opinion with the Fooders is that they're doing what Joe and Melissa say. At the end of the day, there have been lawsuits, court cases against John Fooder and the birth mother and things like that. It's not hard, and it was the Sun US. You've got to think that's owned by Rupert Murdoch, one of the most powerful, most influential, biggest connected people probably in the world. And that then sort of passes on to the other people that work there, that they can access things like lawsuits, court filings and things. And once you know John Fooder's name, they can look at court filings and see what's happening. By that, obviously, the birth mother's named. They can find her name. And then, of course, she was in prison when these lawsuits were happening. And then in a safe house, the details of the prison, the details of the sort of the halfway house, that would have all been in the court filings as well. So then a journalist, all they can do is they find her, go to that halfway house, or find her details and are able to contact her to find the details.
Just the
Obviously,
fact, Freddie,
she's going to be spited, so she's going to speak out against John Fooder. You don't need Louie to be paying Bo Dietl to get all this information. It's really not that hard.
It's just the fact that they're hiring troll farms, they're getting background checks on people. It's just too much. Let me start taking some of these calls because this is just too much. Hey Don, how are you?
What's going on, everybody?
Why are you Jocelyn? Let me just start with a straight up basic question, Don. How do we save RHOA? Nobody
Well,
likes
first of
it.
all, this conversation, for you all to think that, and y'all know I'm not a Kandi fan, but I say what it is, what it is. But
Okay.
Marlo was better as a friend when she came in and she left. Where's Marlo's house?
The house that
They
she
don't want to
hasn't
talk
built.
about it.
Yeah, where's her house where she had the
It's, a,
plans and she
it's at
went to
the
the
same
dirt?
place where Candy's
Right, but
bulletproof is on her
we're talking
building.
about a real storyline here. Where's her
Yeah.
house? That she had the plans built. She had the man there.
Yeah.
She laid the plans out on the car for them to come see. Where's the house? We want to see something real. She was better as a friend. How are you bringing something up? And I'm like I said, I'm not a Kandi fan, but this was 2 years ago, and you're making it your storyline this year. You're not seeing a psychiatrist chick. You're seeing a deaconess from the church that's giving you life advice.
But then, if
And
that's
you
the
talking
case, and
about
if we're
something
gonna,
is making you better. No, it's not making you better.
but if
But
we're
how
gonna
do
hold
we
Marlo,
save the show? How do we save it, Don?
I mean, you have to bring some like you. I mean, this part I do agree with. You have to bring some real friendships in there. You can't bring people in like Sanya Richards Ross, who if Marlo wipes from the front to the back or from the back to the front, you agree with it and say, "Oh yeah, she's just grieving."
I think Freddie was right. We've got to have some real friendships here, or we can't take it. Hey Mel, how have you been?
Hi, how you doing?
Good. Mel, can you save this show? What do we need to do?
I think I can. You know what I think for me? I think they need to get some humor back on the show. It's not funny anymore. So I think that the reason people were talking about Nene a couple of weeks ago, because she brought humor there. We need Phaedra, we need Portia, we don't have humor. Nobody's reading and doing funny things. Also, Candy's not my favorite person, but I think that Bravo invested too much in Kandi with all these side shows. I actually think that if they didn't do that, it would have been a little more better for the show. It's almost like you have a good show and you water it down with all these different spinoffs. If we would have saw the girls from SWV, we would have saw her restaurant fully uncensored. Her restaurant on the show would have been a better show for RHOA. So I think that they gave Bravo too many spinoffs for her. We need more funny people on the show. I don't know about bringing new people in. I think they need to negotiate with the people who are there who work. If they can't, then cancel the show, because I'm not sure if I don't know. I don't think that the audience will really get into new people in Atlanta, because I'm not sure that New York is going to work either, the new version. So
yeah, we don't know if that's going to work too. Hi, Kendall. Kendall, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, Kendall, save the show. What would you do? We got to save the show.
I agree. We need friendships. We need humor. We need Nene. We need Nene and Kim both. As much as I do not like the K word, and I just, yeah, I don't like that woman. But her and Nene are the show. We need Phaedra. We need Cynthia. We need the OGs back and wipe this whole slate. Even Kandi, because she's not an OG. She was not there in the beginning. Bring those girls back. Give us what we love and what we started following and what we started loving. I love all those girls, but
even just Sean Snow, huh? That would be interesting.
Okay, Sharrell, don't get carried away.
And then I sent you a message on Instagram. Did you get it?
No, I don't. I didn't.
Well,
what was it?
Whack 100. I'm a big Whack fan. I don't know if
you're a Whack 100 fan. Okay, go ahead.
I love Whack. I'm not all white. I look very
Come on, Remy,
white, but I'm
Loki.
not all white.
Let's go. Come on, mixture.
I'm sorry. Anyways, Whack, he was discussing Kandi and those guys on that show, and he agreed with this. Those men were
Whack 100 is following Atlanta?
Yeah, he does.
Oh, wow.
Yes, he does.
Oh.
And I sent you the link to him on his Instagram stories about what he thought about that interview, and that Kandi didn't step up, and those guys, and he agreed with us. So that's all I have to say. I love you all.
Okay,
have a great day.
Yeah, me too.
What?
I have
Go
to drop
ahead.
down.
I'm sorry.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye,
All right,
guys.
Mill.
All right.
All right. Bye.
All right.
I was gonna have Daryl talk next, but he's gone. Sound off, Terrence. How are you?
Hey, how y'all doing? Happy Juneteenth. All
Good.
right. Portia. They're setting it up for Portia to come back because Portia is these girls' Achilles heel. And what I mean by that is, Kenya don't like her, and that season that Portia agreed to quit, they was gonna go after her. But Portia has everything that they want. She got the money, she got the lifestyle, she has the friends. If you follow her on Instagram, everybody be over her house when her and Simon be cooking out. They need to bring her back and let us see her life. But what Bravo need to do is tell these girls, y'all can't put it on Instagram when you're filming because we see everything on Instagram. So when it's shown, it's not interesting to us because we've already, I don't like her, but I don't hate her. But I want her to go. If you want to win a Grammy, go be, or Emmy, go be on The Voice. Go be a coach on that show and get your Emmy. I'm tired of her story. It has come to an end. And that storyline in Mama Joy, it was more to that story that they cut out. What Mama Joyce was saying, and it went over everybody's head, was Todd not teaching the boy how to take the trash out. Todd has changed since he married Kandi and got her money. And what she's saying is you stood up in front of God and all their friends and family, and you run around here doing threesomes. It was more to that story. And Mama Joyce knows the real deal. So don't come down on her because she knows more about what's going on in that household than what we do. That's it. Just give her the Kandi. It's more to the story.
Wow.
Mama Joyce can go with Kandi off the show. Twirl away.
She can.
I agree.
Mark, I agree, but it's more to the story though. She knows she doesn't want.
It's a story.
She don't want Kandi out here talking about threesomes, and you got married in the church.
Kandi been on the show talking about her sex the whole time she was here. Kandi been talking about sex since season 2.
Yeah, but we're talking about in public. She's on public platforms talking about threesomes and stuff. Mama Joyce don't want that for her family and everybody to know what she do. It's what she's trying to tell her. And I don't believe it's all Todd that wants the girls in the
Mama
room.
Joyce needs to talk about it if she wants to stay on this show. Quite frankly, I'm bored of this merry-go-round, driving around in circles of the same thing, maybe teasing stuff or not. It's boring. They can both go and they can both try and be famous elsewhere.
Let me read these super chats really quick. It says RHOA needs Charlinda Parker, wife of Q Parker, and sister Bree of the Big Rich Atlanta. I don't know who that is. They are fabulous and known in Atlanta.
Yes, and they're friends with Portia, and they're friends with the ladies on the Housewives, and she's from Richmond. And believe it or not, I used to work for her. Yes, bring her back. Yeah, they have a nail shop in Atlanta.
Hi, Sharrell Perry. Where can I see Freddie when he's not here? Freddie, shut your channel out.
You can follow me. I do have a YouTube channel. It's called Reality Diamonds. So yeah, give me a follow there. Find me there when I'm not here doing lives as well.
Let's see. Oh, hey, Diva. I gotta let Emmanuel go next. Okay, hold on, Diva. Sound off, Emmanuel.
Hey, Sharrell. Hey, everyone.
Hi.
So the Kandi thing, bro, that pissed me off when I saw it on my Instagram. That's why I sent it to you right away. Because I was like, just because Sanya didn't want, like, she said she wanted Phaedra, now you want to say off with her head? Like, come on now. Kandi Burruss is ruining this show. She needs to go. She should have left a long time ago. Her and her leprechaun husband can leave. We're tired of their story. She can't even satisfy her husband. That's why she's bringing on these threesomes. That's what she needs to be focusing on.
No, the women is for her.
Okay, wait, hold on. What about this, Emmanuel? How do we save the show? Because it's just not Kandi with a storyline. The show sucks.
Yeah, they need to get rid of Kandi and Kenya because I feel like they're weighing down the show and bringing it down. I have an idea, and it's crazy.
Okay,
it's really crazy. I'm not saying it's possible. Since they put Phaedra and Married to Medicine, why not have Mariah go to Atlanta? I feel like that would be really interesting, don't you think?
No, I think Mariah Hart's pretty boring. I really don't think she'd bring us much to Atlanta, quite frankly. I'd rather see some younger, newer, unknown blood that has good wealth and they live in somewhere like Buckhead.
Mark, you're not down with Mariah?
No. And oh no, she ain't gonna give us nothing but talking loud, twirling around. No.
Okay, go ahead, Emmanuel. Go ahead.
Well, there are rich people here.
I don't know. I think she's entertaining. I think she was a mess, but she was fun to watch. And yeah, I mean, I still watch the show. It's not as interesting as it used to be. Personally, my favorite is Potomac. At this point, so I really want them to come back already. I know they're filming their season. I think they're about to end, but yeah, pretty boring overall.
I hate to say it. I'm ready for RHOA to go. Hold on, Diva. I'm getting to you. True. Sound off really quickly. I know Diva. She's sitting like this. Hold on, Diva.
Hey, Sharrell. Can you hear me clearly? I just want to make sure I have my Bluetooth on.
Well, it's really bad echo.
Oh, it's an echo? Okay.
Yeah.
You can take someone else and come back to me. I'll fix it then.
Okay, try to fix it. Thank you. Go ahead, Diva.
Okay.
Sound off.
You know, the show is not what it used to be. And I don't care who you bring back, recycle, dig up from the grave. I still don't think it's going to get back what it was. But it can be something different.
What if they brought back the original cast, Diva?
I don't even know if that's going to work. But clearly we know from what happened the previous week when they snubbed Nene that there's no road and no door that's going to open for her to be back on RHOA. So we can all just let that go respectfully, right? So my thing is, I'm not quite, Portia was a magic sauce. Now, we did get a lot of drama and stuff when Portia was on there, and the show still stayed afloat, and we had enough oomph for us to be interested in it. And as much as a train wreck as her spinoff show was, it was still entertaining. Portia is Portia, and seeing her navigate her marriage and, her baby daddy, it might bring us something back to the show that we actually need, right? So I don't know, but right now, no matter what they seem to do, it just seems to be crazy. They didn't keep it Gucci, and that wasn't even an original thought, right? Because that was something that happened on Love and Marriage Huntsville. So it's like they don't even have their own thought process as to when it comes to doing a storyline, right? You recycle stuff from another show, and I'm kind of over it. I'm hanging in there with them because it is RHOA, but at the end of the day, I could utilize my hours somewhere else.
Go ahead, Mark. You were going to say something. Go ahead, Mark.
So you mean to tell me that Sheree went to Love and Marriage Huntsville and started stealing ideas?
Carlos gave it to her.
Not only will she steal fashion, wow, Sheree.
Right. Stormy had a whole situation with keeping it Gucci, and now you want to throw a Gucci party and say we're going to keep it Gucci or whatever. I'm like, girl, can we get something original and different? So it's just like there's nothing original coming, no original thought process are coming out from them either, and nothing is authentic. None of these girls are really friends like that. That's why the fights before used to mean something, because you know they had a friendship. When Nene and Cynthia tore up the friendship contract, it meant something because those two were actually friends. We also, what, in my opinion, Sharrell, we need the husbands back. Okay, it's supposed to be the Real Housewives. We need some husbands back because the husbands gave us enough shade too.
Like who? Peter?
But we can't get Mark.
Apollo. Greg knew when to step in when he had to and tell the people to calm down.
Derek J, Miss Lawrence.
The husband. We need that back. That's some of the resource too, like having an actual husband. Now, who is it? It's Todd. I mean, because Ross.
I'm not looking at Todd for an hour. I'm not looking at Todd for an hour.
And then Todd can't speak unless he raises his hand. But you said a key thing. You said a key word though, Diva. Portia. Now I'm telling you, that's my girl. I'll be back on that damn show. She's living her damn best life.
Yes.
As a whore.
I don't care. Hey, make it how you make it how you
We really want to watch her.
Hey, Mark, make it how you can get it. Ain't nobody talking about Candy's sex.
You get it how you live.
We ain't talking about Kandi's sex shop.
Wow.
I mean, her sex shop and dungeon tours and stuff like that. So, you know, it is what it is. And if she is that, Mark, she won in the world finals because she living her best life.
All right.
Kenya is sleeping with supposed to be having sex, and she's still married, and she put everybody down for doing that.
Kenya's a liar. Kenya is not married. Kenya is not married.
I mean, but we also need to find out who Marlo's benefactors are as well.
Because that ain't none of your business. They signed their NDAs.
We know
Hold on, everybody. Everybody, hold on. Sound off, Toria. We haven't seen you in a while. Girl, what you got to say?
Hey, Toria.
Hey, everybody. Hi, Emmanuel.
Hey.
I agree with Perry. I love Portia. We always love Portia. But don't you think a lot of people are over the Housewives? I mean, each franchise has got the same storylines. None of them really got any money. None of them really own their house. We don't see the fantastic trips no more. We don't see the little real
Toria,
fight.
I would agree with you, but Orange County seems to be enjoyable.
Yuck. I can't stand Tamra. I refuse to watch Orange County with them two racist women. Tamra and Vicky are two racist, and I refuse to watch it.
Tori, have you seen it this season? Have you seen these first two shows?
I looked at some of the clips, but I don't find it interesting at all. Them women always was boring to me. Shannon's a drunk.
Shannon?
You know that's my favorite housewife. Oh my God.
She is a drunk. She always is crying about somebody. And I don't want to hear about her lemons this and lemon that. And Tamra, she lost that gym not because of the pandemic, because of all the sneaky deals she did, giving up bad memberships and got sued.
Whoa. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Tamra losing cuts. They don't have that gym no more.
Right. But what deals are you talking about? Giving out shady deals. What do you mean?
You know, you got to buy memberships to the gyms.
Right.
And membership packages. And she pulled the same kind of thing that girl on Beverly Hills pulled, Teddy, giving people stuff that wasn't right. And she got sued.
Wait, what? Are you serious?
Yeah, they got sued. And plus, Tamra ain't got a good marriage like y'all think. She was sneaking back over there with her ex-husband when he had cancer. And that was before the show came back on. That was, I think, a year and a half or 2 years, almost 2 years ago.
Freddie, what is she talking about?
Well, there was a lot of talk that Tamra was allegedly, Full Cut Fitness was giving certain discounts and kept changing them on Groupon. Now, a lot of these rumors weren't substantiated. I remember that Kelly Dodd mentioned it, and she threatened to sue Kelly Dodd over this rumor, allegedly. But yeah, I mean, it was run by the husband. I don't really know what his business acumen's about, if he even has any, quite frankly.
Well, let me ask you this, Freddie. Are they going to bring it up? Because what Tori is basically saying is that Orange County, they're leaving out parts of their life too. Is that true?
I think all of these shows are leaving parts of their life out. I mean, like
the only one that's really rich on there is Heather Dubrow. Heather's the only one that's really rich.
She's the biggest problem of leaving stuff out of her life. She's the biggest cover up. She's like, oh, look at me. You know, I live in this massive house and I want to raise my children.
Know that.
This Jewish.
We know that, Freddie.
Hold on, Tori. If they cancel the whole franchise, what are we gonna watch?
Oh, Sharrell, there is so many new reality shows. A new one pops up every day.
Well, we have just one. What, like what?
We have all
Zeus?
these streaming services. Oh, hell no. Zeus exploits black people.
Yeah, it does. It does.
I don't like what Zeus does to the black community. I don't like the way Zeus has them young children on there fighting all the time. And Jocelyn, you know that's a trick that she just needs
my
to go.
job for you. If we don't watch Housewives, we have to
You
watch
have a lot of other. Sharrell, you are more interested in just Housewives. You do some really fantastic stories about different women, different topics that's in the news. You are more than just Housewives. Don't even say that's your job. Housewives isn't your life.
That's what I'm saying. Just give me one show that we could watch. Just one. What will we watch?
Look at Peacock has a lot of new shows. E's got some new reality shows. MTV's got some.
Well, you guys hear about Puff Daddy's new show. Have you heard about this, Freddie?
I have. I don't really know what it's going to be about, but
he's going to bring all of his boys on the show, all of his children on the show. And he did a concert a couple days ago, and his children up there.
And even Rob, what's his name? Sylvester Stallone even has a reality show now. And you got Judge Mathis got the reality show.
They canceled his.
They canceled it?
Right. Nobody's watching that crap.
Y'all really want to watch this? Y'all want to watch that stuff?
No, nobody's watching.
Bobby says Quad from Married to Medicine would be a good addition to Atlanta. Bring back Nene and Portia. The last season, Tamara was on OC. She rolled around on the bar floor acting trashy. She did. She did.
I think Real Housewives of Miami will be great, actually, this upcoming
now,
season.
I like that show. I love that show.
It's going to get better because you've got a mixture of different people, older housewives, younger housewives. You know, we have a mixture of white and black and Latino housewives. So we get a real cultural mix of the show, which I think is very important.
But you still have a woman on there that's still continuously lying about her entire life.
There's real drama happening. People are getting bored of Larsa and Alexia. And people are, and now it seems that both Gertie and Nicole are going to be taking over this show because everyone's liking them. And I think it's going to be really exciting of what's going to happen.
Let me ask you this, Freddie. Is it weird that Larsa Pippen is dating her ex-husband's enemy son?
I know that is just a bit creepy and weird. I just think what's even weird is that Scotty.
It's not weird because the fact she did not know that child. She never met that child when he was a child.
Girl, that is weird.
No,
that
it
is
is
weird.
weird. Like it or not, it's weird, and he's too young. The weirder one is that Scottie Pippen Jr., Larsa's son, plays for the Lakers with Larsa's ex-boyfriend Malik Beasley. That's the funniest one.
It's nasty.
Exactly. Come on.
And then you know what's funny? What you said, Toria? You said that the weirdest thing about it when you say a child.
Come on.
He's a child.
Now that part.
Y'all leave Toria alone. Y'all back up off of my Toria, okay?
Yeah, y'all got to back up on
They funny. They funny though. The Miami Housewives is funny.
All right, I'm gonna go around. Everybody's saying they think RHOA. What'd you say, Diva?
I was gonna say, you know what I think is actually gonna be good? The revamp of New York.
How do you know? We don't know any of those.
Well, no, I know the girl from J. Crew because I love J. Crew.
Yeah.
I do. I know that girl from J. Crew. And it's her and her wife. Like, she's the one that they're featuring, but her wife is gonna, appear on there too.
I'll do this, Diva. I'll give it a try. I'll give it a try. But you know what's gonna be good, and Diva's about to chop my ear off. I think to save RHOA, they need to bring back Carlos King.
You know what, Sharrell? You know with that, they need to call a truce. I know everybody don't like Giselle, but Giselle does it right. When they asked Giselle who should go on her show, she always said we are cast and we all need to stay. She didn't like Monique and she did not like Wendy, but she tell a good lie though. But it's better than going around saying who should get fired and who shouldn't get fired. And her and Cam made a truce. And then when they go after Karen make them look stupid, but the next year they still come back and they still try to work on a friendship again. That's what reality TV is back and forth, back and forth. But these women on Atlanta, they hate each other.
Thanks, Freddie.
Bye, Freddie.
Well, for once we agree. Amen.
Kandi shouldn't have the
Wait, hold
Kandi
on.
shouldn't be able to take.
You're right. Hold on. Everybody, hold on. Let Mark talk. Go ahead, Mark.
Hold on. You guys think that Potomac is a good show, a show that has had people being assaulted? Wendy was assaulted, and he's saying that he agrees with Giselle and how she runs things. Giselle did not call out Mia for being wrong. At least Nene called out Portia for lying on Kandi. When Giselle sat there, he was saying that Karen and Giselle played the game right. They don't hate people.
What he said is that Giselle knows how to do the money thing right. She don't go around saying this one should be fired, that one should be fired, so-and-so should be fired just because she can't get along with them. So she brings back the same cast. And when you have that real chemistry, whether they get along or not, that's what we hold on to. When you keep having this rotation of cast and nobody really is friends with each other, it doesn't make sense to show. It's
right. Exactly, Diva.
Arguing with people, and that's why that argument between Courtney and Kandi, it don't mean nothing.
Right.
Like, Courtney, who are you? And you came with a stupid argument anyway. So all he's saying is that you gotta know how to make a show happen, and you can't keep saying just because you don't get along with somebody, fire up. No, we need y'all to sit there, work this thing out, and figure it out, and give us a show. Just like Nene and them did, just like Cynthia and them did, just like Kim did until she thought she was too big for her bridges and left. No, we're going to have this showdown after reunion, and we're going to get it on, and then y'all going to shut up and come back and get it.
So would you be able to sit down? Would you be able to sit down if you were Wendy with Mia after she assaulted her?
Let me tell you this, and this is me keeping it real and 100.
Please.
Under my check, and if I gotta make a good show, I'm going to get down with the get down, and you wouldn't have got that off on me anyway. So if you want to try to attack me, then Bravo going to have a whole show because you going to get what you get for coming after me. So I ain't going to.
But Mark, let me ask you this: would you be friends? Over in Jersey, Teresa threw the whole table of drinks on Marge, and Marge was in her wedding. How did you do that? She had on all white. When she left the restaurant, her outfit was red. Teresa threw all the drinks on her last season, not this season, but the season before that. But they still film with each other. It's a game. It's a reality game, and these girls are not playing.
But Marge was not in the wedding. She was at the wedding. She was not in the wedding.
Well, in the wedding, at the wedding, she still went.
Well,
but
then
she
I guess
she wanted to get paid for filming. That's why she.
I guess maybe because I'm younger, it would have to be like an eye for an eye. So you throw a drink on me, I'm gonna throw a drink on you, and then we cool. You throw a table on me, I'm gonna throw a table on you, and then we cool. You're not just gonna take a lick on me, and I'm gonna be cool with that.
Hold on, let me read this, and then I'm gonna let Opinion talk. RHOA needs a new EP. They do. The current one is making RHOA and the Real Housewives of Potomac bad. I'm not sure about Carlos Sharrell. Listen, he produced some of the best shows on RHOA.
But you know what, Sharrell? He's not doing any justice for his own shows over there at home.
Ooh, Diva!
Not any justice.
But you will say that you have to say this, Diva. I think that the storylines for Huntsville is recycled. But when Martell first got caught cheating with Mel, we couldn't stop watching.
That's true.
And now you know they got Detroit starting Saturday.
Oh my God, you guys, we got to do Detroit. We got to do Detroit because I'm from
Sharrell, I agree with you about Carlos. He could come back because, you know, quiet as it's kept, Andy's on his way out. He got called to the red carpet again, and Universal told him this is the last time that we are calling you in here. The way you handled that reunion was unacceptable.
You're talking about New Jersey?
Yes.
Diva, you're on mute. Are you saying something?
You're on mute, Diva.
Oh my gosh, really?
I need to know.
Yep.
He got in trouble for New Jersey.
Hold on.
The way he handled New Jersey was just fine.
It's not working. And I can't do it on my end. Try to figure it out. I'm gonna let Opinion talk really quick. Opinion, sound off.
Yeah, Andy got in trouble for New Jersey because he hollered at them and they said they not gonna take him hollering at them housewives like that. And something about the way he bullied Jen Aiden.
Oh wow. Interesting. Anyway,
But
really quickly,
anyway,
And he got in trouble for Raquel too.
Opinion, I got about 7 minutes. How do we save RHOA?
we get rid of the Brat Pack.
What is that?
That would be Marlo,
Okay.
Sharrell,
Amen.
Courtney,
Amen.
Oh yeah.
and Sanya.
Amen.
No.
But you would keep Drew though? You would keep Drew though?
Yes, I would keep Drew finna go through a divorce. Okay, I'm gonna need them cameras to go ahead and start filming now because it's gonna get they finna get petty and petty. I'm gonna need them to go ahead and start rolling them cameras for the season. Nuh-uh, because let me tell you something, Drew, their relationship has been kept so quiet right now. I'm wondering what the temperature is over there because they keep throwing slugs at each other. You notice that now there's a report out saying that she was cheating first.
Yeah.
Now we all know how Drew is, okay? She had her mom over there praying for her marriage, so I don't buy that she was up there cheating with no woman and then that that just don't look like her character. You know what I'm saying? Like Drew, like one of them church good girls.
Well, I mean, they all look that way from the outside. Now, I mean, and I never thought, Kandi would be down in the dungeon.
Okay, Perry, you are messy.
Man.
I've been actually I was a Drew Sidora fan, so I've been following her career.
Al, are you new to the panel, Al?
No, I think I spoke to you guys last week, but I just want to say hello, everyone. And today is going well. Happy Juneteenth. I really just wanted to actually tackle this from, because I'm like an intellectual and everything. You know, I smoke my trees and I think. That's all I do. So when I think about approaching the situation of RHOA, I just jot down like 5 points that I kind of thought about they need to attack. And it's, for one, organic and authenticity. When we first met these women of Atlanta, they was themselves. Like, they was real. Like, we felt like they was our girls. Like, we felt like we was them. We saw ourselves in them. And because they didn't have the chance to see what they looked like on TV, they was raw, and they gave us nothing but their personality.
Amen.
And now that they're like way seasoned in, years forward, they know what they look like on TV. They know what to share, what not to share. So we have that with all the ladies here. But then also I want to keep tying this fact that when it comes to that personality, and I'm going to tie this into something else, but just follow with me, y'all. Just follow me on my train. But when it comes to personality, it comes to a point where personality can clash with predictability. And once your audience is able to predict your personality on the show, what's the point of them watching you for? Because they're already going to know what your actions is going to be. They're going to be able to predict what you're going to do from the trailers. Like it's come to a point now where, and like that's the thing when it comes to these ensemble casts of reality shows. We have these women here that, like you said, the storylines are repeated, the drama is manufactured. Now we can clearly tell, and they show us the whole show in the trailer that we're able to predict the dynamics for the whole season. Now, when we go from that, and these women here, and they know what they look like, they know what and what not to share on TV. And by no way am I saying these women are old or what, but at some point, it comes a point in everybody's lives, whether we want to see it ahead of time or whether we want to look back, where there comes elevation and growth. And I was a teenager growing up with these ladies because they are part of the culture for me. But when I look back to the next generation, they look at them as like, why is Auntie on here fighting? Like, there's no connection, you know? Like, I grew up with Nene, I grew up with Cynthia, I grew up with Kandi, so it's like, I know the iconic reads, I know everything Kandi has given us from the first season. But when you look at the next generation, it's not, these ladies are already established, so there isn't a journey that viewers are carried on to because they've given us everything. So this is why I say this is very parallel to what's going on with Basketball Wives. We've seen Basketball Wives time and time again. They kind of break different franchises. Then the ladies from a failing franchise, they jump onto the new franchise. And what happened? It kills the viewers. Like, We clearly saw this when Basketball Wives branched off and did Basketball Wives LA. They brought us fresh meat. We picked out who our favorite was, and then whoever didn't make the cut, they cut them, and then they added in the OGs from Miami when that show failed. And now look where we are years later. The cast is majority, I guess, Miami again. We still have our few favorites, but now that they've given us everything, we're back in the same position. We can predict the character. We know Jackie's gonna act a fool. Evelyn's coming back next season. We tired of seeing her. We tired of her taking a break and coming back to not do nothing again. Like, what is the point, you know? So
I like this young man, Sharrell. I like him.
So I got 2 more stops before I land this train here. So
oh, honey, we're gonna have Orlando for Basketball Wives too next season.
I know. So it's like I'm interested. That's the thing. It's interesting to explore these dynamics. There's nothing wrong with exploring them. So because I love these women, I'm tired of them. Like I'm gonna call a spade a spade. We need fresh meat. All of them need to go. That's just that, because they're not willing to actually explore these relationships on camera anymore because they've already given it to us. They're burnt out. I can tell they're burnt out. I can tell that they're trying to take the easy route and cheat us for content and come up with manufactured drama or be petty with drama and stuff. Like we see this with Marlo. Marlo has waited all these years for her chance, and now she's not wasting it by every little petty thing that we see. And it's like, girl, I did not vouch for you and wait all these years for you to get up here and argue with somebody about filming.
Yeah.
Like what? Like what is really like? That's no substance to me. I can't relate to that. I can't relate going to my job and argue with somebody that, because they not working and they not meeting their productivity. That's my issue with them. Girl, I can give care less about you. If I got money, if I got this, I want to show the world what's going on with me and the kids that I'm taking care of because of my situation. I like that situation with Marlo. I like the realness from them. So so once again, bringing it all the way to land my plane, it goes back with people need to be able to resonate across age groups. The new generation, we have generations that not only is it just us because we know these women, but what's going to continue to push them and keep them going is if they give us a journey that the next generation feel like they can follow. The next generation don't know they can follow them because they already here and they retired. So they're okay, well, who are we looking for? That's why you have the new generation. That's why they're obsessed with.
Now, Al, I gotta stop you for a second. Hold on, Al. Are you a 20-something?
Yes.
There you 20-something. Come on here and put aunties to shame. He making the most sense.
I'm not putting aunties to shame. But what I'm saying is, I stopped counting my age after COVID. Okay, that's when I stopped counting time. So what I'm saying is, this is why we see the rise of demographics of Now That's TV and Zeus Network, because they're not afraid to go out and do the work to find these diamonds in the roughs. And even though they may be totally raw and we don't like how they expose them, it's the fact that they're willing to go out and sit and time again to do a show about whoever they can find because they're willing to go out and find them. And whether these shows, what we like them or not, it's the fact that people are glued to them because it's a sense of rawness. It's a sense of realness that we're not getting from the people that we want. They can't. We can't relate to these women anymore because everything is manufactured. So
there you go. Say it again. Say it again. One more time.
Yeah, nothing's giving us real. And it's funny because we see the stories, we see the headlines, but it's like they don't put it on the floor when the cameras come on. They don't put nothing on the floor when the cameras come on. They sit and they make up stuff, and it's like, girl, we know what the real issue going on in the real world. Why won't you talk about that? But like I said, they got a chance to be seasoned. They know what they look like on camera. They know what to talk about. They know what could be bad press. But you have women like Jocelyn who's still willing to get down and dirty, who's still willing to, she know that she can act a fool by herself, but what does she do? She go and find other women that we do not know to act a fool with her. And that's why she's still seeing success, because she knows the trick. People want realness. We want something that we can relate to. And we know after a while, we can start seeing when stuff is being fake. We can start seeing when it's being fake.
Nobody say anything else. We're going to end on that note because he just said what the problem is. We don't get any realness. We can't support these women anymore. This is so good.
It's all scripted.
It's very scripted. Someone has their TV on in the background. But that's it. Now, me and Diva got to come back because we got to talk about Kimora Simmons. We got to talk about that mess. That's real good. So
I'm
I
praying
got
for
to
her
end
with
this
prayer
here.
hands down.
I just seen a picture of her and her beautiful girls. They really turned out. Russell Simmons' kids really turned out to be beautiful young women.
It's a lot going on.
It's a lot going on.
Even gonna talk about it.
Let me tell you.
I'll come back and watch it. I'll come
I
back.
can't wait to hear it.
You gotta catch they dropping receipts, but somebody must have talked to her because she dropped the live, then she took it down.
Well, we got it.
I can't wait to hear
Thank
it.
you,
All
Diva.
right
Then
now.
let me give it to you.
And Sharrell, catch the receipts because they're dropping receipts, and then they show the video. They didn't play the sound, but they showed the video of him going off.
Okay. Russell Simmons went off?
Yes, call me.
Okay, y'all. Listen, we gotta go. Me and Diva gotta go. We gotta go back.
All right, thanks,
you guys.
Sharrell.
Thank you.
Love
Mark,
y'all.
come back.
All right,
We
thanks
talking
everybody.
about
Thanks for
Russell
coming.
Simmons.
Bye, Perry.
Bye, you guys. So we'll be back
Bye.
around our numbers time is 2:30 Pacific, 5:30 Eastern. I got this story for Diva. Thank you, Diva. Let's talk about it. It's a lot to talk about. Please leave your comments in the comment section. If you have an idea of how we save RHOA, don't forget to click that like button on your way out. On 3, everybody, let's say goodbye. 1, 2, 3. Bye, guys.